Chris Mccullen, Anthony Mundine's co-trainer. How do you feel tonight went down?
Yeah, look, it's would love to see Chop go out a winner, but you know, he showed the size of his heart tonight. You know what he's given to boxing for a long time. Probably doesn't get enough credit for the size of his ticker. You know, who would imagine at 44 he's still jumping in with young warriors, old warriors, but he's still doing it. So I think he showed what sort of heart he's got tonight. So I'm proud of him anyway, no matter what. But that's boxing.
That's right. Did John Wayne Parr surprise you tonight, how tough he was?
No way. It's John Wayne Parr.
Yeah.
You know, like, we knew that, Chop knew that going in. He knew what style he had in front of him. We'll probably expected John Wayne to jump on Chop a little earlier.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't surprised. Neither was Chop. He knows what we had in front of him, what he had in front of him, and John Wayne's a living legend. It's just unfortunate that he had that in Thai boxing. If he had that in boxing, he's a long-time millionaire. Because what he's achieved in Thai boxing, if he did that in boxing, you look at them all, they live like gods, and you know, they're multi-millionaires because of what they've done. It's just unfortunate that the Thai boxing probably not as supported, but he's just a living legend.
You reckon John Wayne Parr might look back on his career and think maybe he should have more boxing fights? He had 14. He had 14.
14 with tonight, but no, I don't think so. I think he's just regarded so highly in Thai boxing, and yeah, maybe money-wise he may have, but you know, he may have come to boxing and not been able to get anywhere further outside the Australian level where there's no money. But you know, whilst in Thai boxing, he still would have made a decent amount of money, I'm sure. But everywhere he goes around the world at a Thai boxing event, he's well known, just in combat sport.
Very moving moment tonight after the fight. John Wayne actually got down and bowed.
Yeah.
At Anthony. Have you ever seen anything like that in boxing before?
Oh, you see it, the odd one. It's definitely with the Thai fighters, you see it. But John Wayne's so respectful. You know, he was fighting probably one of his idols, even though they're the same age as Chop was. You know, was with him, and it showed in all the press conferences and Wayne and that how respectful they were of each other. Then they go out and do what they do tonight by, you know, trying to take each other out, and at the end of it, it was very humbling.
There's been a lot of good fights in Australia this year. Obviously, this one was a crossover fight, but whether it's crossover or boxing, some people are actually saying right now on social media that even could be fight of the year.
Yeah, well, listen to the crowd went off the whole time. It was, you know, electric in there. Not going to get any complaints from me. I love when, you know, they both stood toe to toe like two old warriors. Just,
it's incredible,
in the trenches. It's one that won't be forgotten for a while.
Looking back in the fight, round 5 I found was a pretty monumental moment where Anthony sort of, I thought, hurt John Wayne Parr. Was there any sort of like directions then to try and maybe, you know, sing it out to finish it, or?
Yeah, 100%. We were telling him to jump all over him, but it's easier said than done, especially when you've got, you know, someone like Wayne Parr in front of you. You know, Chop wanted to take him out, there's no doubt about it. He had a good crack for about 30 seconds and unleashed on him, but John Wayne's so tough that he was still standing. But yeah, if Chop could take him out, he was going to take him out. It's just credit to John Wayne. I actually thought his gloves touched the ground, which I thought maybe would have been a knockdown toward Chop, but be interesting to look back on that as well, especially with the two calls that were, you know, maybe controversial for some, but yeah, it would have been good to see what that knockdown, if that was actually a knockdown, but any part of his glove touches when Chop was letting go, then that's classed as a knockdown as well, may have got missed.
Looking back now, on the knockdown for Anthony, was that more of a knockdown or was it a push through the ropes?
I mean, it was on the other side of the ring to us, but it certainly looked that way. You know, Chop feels that was the way it was as well, so it looked like that from our angle. Chop didn't look to be getting hit too clean, but just sort of got forced a bit through the ropes. You know, ref made that call, and yeah, maybe when.
And then obviously the other monumental decision was obviously the actual knockdown. The deduction, the 4-point deduction.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not sour grapes, but you know, Chop's he got his own fair share around the back of the ear as well. But and it wasn't like either fighter meant to do it. It's just the style of it. You know, both were turning a little bit or ducking a little bit. They were just two competitors letting go. I think that was probably a little unfair, but you know, that's referee Paul Tapley made that call, and whilst we thought it wasn't right, I actually think John Wayne probably thought it wasn't right, but it's the heat of the moment. We can't do anything now, and both boys got out of there healthy, so that's the main thing.
What an incredible night too. DDP Sports put on. It was an incredible show tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, loved it. The undercard was good. They got it out there throughout Australia.
Yeah.
Great venue. You put a few thousand in that venue, and it probably turns into one of the best venues around.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was electric.
Yeah.
The boys turned it on for the crowd, and that wasn't only the main fight, but all the way down.
Yeah, and we just heard tonight, thank God that the DDP guys did move it, because we've had some severe storms that hit around about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you got to put it down as a good call in the end, otherwise this show didn't go ahead.
Yeah.
Especially, they might have been able to sit there in the rain, and the cover might have been able to stop the fighters from getting wet, but it was an electrical storm, so you couldn't leave people out. With an electrical storm, certainly a bit dangerous. So I think great call in the end.
Big fight coming up in Australia next week. Tim Tszyu, the son of Costa Tszyu, fighting Jack Brubaker. I know you've got a fighter on the undercard down there. How do you see the main event going?
Well, I think styles make fights, and I think with Tim, he's been in with Joel Camilleri and Dwight Ritchie, and respected Dwight. Dwight's a crafty old sucker, or was a crafty old guy, knew his way around the boxing ring, and was able to give Tim an extremely hard fight. And Camilleri is an awkward type fighter, gave Tim just this hard fight, but I think Brubaker's tailor-made for Tim's style, and I think we'll see the best in Tim Tszyu. Tim can fight, but so can Jack. But look, it's a great matchup, it's a great fight, and the whole card's an awesome show.
Another big fight coming up in Australia on December the 18th, and you fought this guy last year, Jeff Horn versus Mccullen. How do you see that rematch going, considering that from the Zerafa camp they're going to keep it at 160 pounds?
Yeah, I think Jeff is, the fight is Jeff's in the first half of the fight. If it gets into the second half, it's Zerafa's. Jeff's going to be a lot more determined, a lot more ready to go this time. He knows what's in front of him. And he's strong, just very strong at that weight. His defence has to be a little bit better, but I think if Jeff's going to take the fight, it has to be in the first 4 to 6 rounds. Anything outside that, then Zerafa probably comes home, because he's just an Iron Man of the sport, Michael Zerafa.
Another big fight we've got happening, we're all heading over to America next week. Dennis Hogan fighting Jamal Charlo at 160 pounds. Massive fight for obviously the Irish fans, because Dennis is Irish, but also Dennis is based here in Australia. Massive big fight for us down here. How do you see that one going?
The Irish should support two potatoes fighting if they could. They love it. They're the best supporters in the world, and I think if Dennis is going to win, he needs the people behind him of Australia, but more so of Ireland. I think against Munguia, he showed how big his heart is and what he can do. He's going to need a little bit more, because he's got a complete different style here with Charlo, who can box, he can punch, he's got it all, he's confident, and look, I think it's a real big ask for Dennis, but I'm not ruling him out, because he's a fighter. He'll be in with a chance just for that reason, for the opportunity. So I think Charlo's probably going to be the sharper fighter, but I'm not ruling Dennis out.
Based off what happened in Mexico earlier this year?
100%, yeah.
At 154.
Yeah. Everyone gave him no chance at all.
You think he won that fight?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
7-5?
I had him up by 1 point. So and that was being pretty lenient too to Mongolia. But definitely Dennis. I thought he won that fight, and I think he'll just grow from that. Only thing is that this is a bigger guy in front of him. Even though Mongolia's big, but you've got speed and power now, not just power. And speed could be the difference.
Australian boxing now is probably the best it's been for a hell of a long time. Michael Zerafa, Jeff Horn, Timmy Tszyu coming up. You know what I mean? Anthony obviously is hopefully will sail off into the sunset. Is Dennis Hogan, based on what he's doing right now in the sport, is he the biggest thing in Australian boxing right now?
Be hard to go past Michael Zerafa. Actually, you've got to throw him in there, but there's, you've got the Maloney twins.
Andrew Maloney.
Andrew and Jason. But they're killing it, those two boys. You've got Tim Tszyu, You got Zerafa, you got Jeff, you got Dennis. You know, there's a few more boys out there too.
But do you feel Dennis is fighting on the biggest stage?
Oh, he's definitely on the biggest stage, 100%. To be pulling guys, you know, like Mongolia and Charlo, that's the big stage. You're not going to get bigger than that. Mm-hmm. So he'll be definitely up the top there, that's for sure.
All right, mate. Thank you for catching up with FightHype.com.
Thanks for having me.